Do you need help with marketing, new clients, or online reviews? Massage Book is your solution, streamlining all the challenging aspects of your massage therapy practice. This powerful software simplifies scheduling, payments, and marketing, allowing you to focus on what you do best, helping clients live better. Plus, sign up now with code ABMP50 and get $50 off after your free 30-day trial. Visit massagebook.com, create an account, and transform your practice today. That's Massage Book with code ABMP50 for $50 off. Don't wait. Give it a shot today. Are you looking for a company that empowers your growth and development? Look no further than the Elements Massage brand, where all massage therapists have the opportunity to thrive through the Elements Massage Career Advancement Program. In the Elements Massage Career Advancement Program, Elements Massage Studios recognize, reward, and uplift their massage therapists, rewarding continuous learning, commitment, and growth. The Elements Massage Career Advancement Program includes professional, elite, and master levels, where massage therapists will enjoy higher commission rates, access to continuing education and development opportunities, and unique career growth opportunities to propel them toward a successful future. Evaluate your career and apply to an Elements Massage studio today. Visit elementsmassage.com/careers and take the first step towards a fulfilling journey. That's elementsmassage.com/careers.
Hello, everyone. Cindy Williams here, and looking forward to talking with you today about a topic that I find very fascinating, and that is learning. In addition to being a massage therapist and body worker for over 2 decades, I've also been an instructor and curriculum developer. So I think a lot about how people learn and what approaches make learning stick. I regularly use this information with my clients when I'm working with them to facilitate healing. I'm going to talk with you today about why I do this and how it works. Even if you aren't officially an instructor, applying a basic understanding of how people learn can greatly benefit the work you do with clients. Let's start by agreeing on one thing. We all have patterns, habits, routines, things we do repeatedly because for one reason or another, we've fallen into a groove. Our brains have established a pathway or multiple pathways that are related to and triggered by each other due to association. Whether it's something you think, feel, or do, when you encounter a regular and familiar stimulus, it neurologically ignites a chain of electrical and chemical responses, because that is how our brain is designed to wire itself for efficiency. This is also known as the path of least resistance. And in some ways, it's a beautiful design. It saves us from expending energy that could be used for other things. For example, when you wake up in the morning, you likely follow the same pattern or routine. Get up, feed your pet, brush your teeth, make coffee, take a shower, whatever it is that you have uniquely and individually built as a routine. Now, you don't have to think about what you'll do next because you do it every day, and your brain has established neural pathways as a result. So you just do it. And if it's not your morning routine, it's some other type of pattern, habit, or routine. Think about it. What do you do every day that is always the same? Even the smallest details of which pant leg you put on first, or how you make your coffee or tea. Do you think about or have to make a decision each day of how much cream or sugar you put in your coffee? Or that you aren't going to put cream or sugar in it at all? Well, no, because it's a decision that has already been made over and over again every single day, so you don't have to consider it. These decisions don't require energy to make. They aren't even decisions anymore. Your energy then can go toward making all the other decisions you have to make throughout the day. It's why patterns, habits, and routines can be a good thing. They're efficient, unless or until they're not. There may be some patterns, habits, or routines that aren't beneficial or of service to our greater wellness at all. There are endless examples of these, which is why people reach out for support from massage therapists and body workers and personal trainers, or counselors, life coaches, addiction recovery programs, and on and on and on. There's a desire to break the pattern, habit, or routine, whether that's a mental, emotional, or physical inclination. For our purposes here, we'll focus on habitual movement patterns, since that's the primary reason why our clients come to us. Most people don't even notice that what they're doing isn't serving their health and wellness until something signals them otherwise. The pattern produces a negative result, and they feel it. Unfortunately, in many cases, people ignore these warning signs and just hope the pain goes away. But I'm here to tell you, it won't. Actually, you've probably likely experienced this for yourself. Pain is a call for attention, and the less attention is given, the louder the signal will sound. It is literally the body's call for help. So to help personalize this concept, well, let's consider you as a body worker. You might be using faulty body mechanics, such as using your upper body instead of your lower body to power your strokes. All is good and well until your body says enough and you begin to experience pain. Well, for your clients, it might be slouching forward or favoring to lean on one armrest when they sit at their work desk all day. Or maybe it's not using their core as their source of power and strength when engaging in an exercise routine or sport. There are many examples of this. And therefore, when clients come into us with chronic aches and pains, it's our job to investigate and illuminate the pattern, then help to guide and re-educate the client and their body toward a new, healthier pattern. It's one of the main reasons why understanding the mechanics of movement, which involves a serious grasp of anatomy, physiology, and kinesiology, is so very important. Now, notice I said re-educate. As we teach our clients more functional approaches to movement, they are learning. Or more accurately said, their brains are rewiring, because that's what true learning is. And so it only makes sense to treat the encounters as learning experiences. This involves grasping a very basic understanding of the process involved in how the brain learns new patterns, habits, and routines, and then applying it to your client interactions. You don't necessarily need to know the nitty-gritty neuroscience details, although I will say it's very fascinating and worthy of your research. You only need to apply 3 key steps in learning, which are attention, emotion, and repetition. Let's look now at each one and how to use them when working with your clients. First, in order to illuminate any pattern, we must pay attention to the signal, or likely multiple signals, that something is off, that it is not a healthy and life-giving pattern. Here's a simple example. I just worked with a client who is experiencing numbness and weakness in her arms and hands. Now, she ignored it until she got to the point where she couldn't even hold a cup of coffee. Then she spoke to a friend about it who told her to contact me. Now, as I met her and did an intake interview, as I always do, I asked a lot of questions. My intake interviews are actually pretty lengthy, but that's how I learn what I'm working with the client. In any case, I asked particularly what activities she engages in on a regular basis, and with special emphasis on her daily routine. Now, long story short, after this thorough intake interview, followed by various forms of assessment, we determined together that her long hours of knitting, which she absolutely loves doing, are causing her harm. The way she sits, looks down at her work, uses repetitive motions, how long she sits there doing all of these things, and even what she's thinking about while she works, all contribute to her concerning symptoms. Now, on a side note here, it turns out that because knitting feels therapeutic for her, she's often thinking about problems in her life and coming up with ways to solve them when she engages in this activity. And after touching her body, you might guess she's also clenching her jaw and tensing her shoulders. So while certainly we don't want to cross any lines of emotional support that we can offer, inquiring about and acknowledging what a client thinks and feels and what they do to soothe themselves with hard feelings can help us form a bigger picture. So the more we can encourage clients to not ignore their pain, but to give it their sincere, caring focus and attention, the more we can support their healing and guide them into the next two steps of the learning process.
Let's take a short break to hear a word from our sponsors. Anatomy Trains will be holding our flagship Anatomy Trains Structural Integration ATSI training in beautiful Vancouver starting September 16th, 2024. Progressively build your anatomical knowledge, hands-on manual therapy techniques, and most importantly, seeing and understanding postural patterns and developing strategies tailored to individual needs. We warmly invite you to apply today and bring your bodywork career to the next level. Visit anatomytrains.com for more. Let's get back to our conversation.
Next, in order to have a reason to learn a new pattern that will be more beneficial to our lives, we must engage our emotions. Emotions are a very powerful force that drives behaviors. In other words, they are very motivating. So when we work with clients to learn new habits, it's important to ask them how they feel about what they are currently experiencing, which likely answers will be frustrated, sad, depressed, or hopeless, because the pain limits them in some way. And it's equally important to ask them how healing the pain will make them feel. Literally ask them to imagine themselves without the pain, without the limitation, or in this woman's case, being able to hold that cup of coffee, not feel so weak, not feel the numbness. And what you'll likely hear are emotions of joy and relief and happiness and hope and so on. So in order to motivate the client to take the necessary actions that develop new patterns, you must keep clients anchored in both camps. The experience of the negative or challenging feelings that they no longer want, and the experience of the positive feelings that they can and will have through their efforts. Emotions have chemical responses that, again, are motivators to change. Plus, those chemical responses reinforce the establishment of new neural connections and therefore, the learning process. Finally, let's talk about repetition. While attention and emotion are essential parts of any learning process, repetition is the Mac Daddy must-do in order to make it stick and become a new pattern, habit, or routine. Think about it. Learning anything new, whether that be riding a bike, having better posture, or soothing tough emotions with nervous system regulating practices instead of nervous system hijacking practices, well, it takes repetition in order to stick. A new neural pathway must be forged, and that generally won't happen with just one go at it. And so we must practice the new skill. And with each round of practice, we refine our performance of it. Fall down on the bike, get back on the bike. Fall down again, receive guidance on how to balance the bike, then get back on the bike again, and so on. And so it is when we teach our clients new ways of moving or unwinding painful movement patterns. They must consistently practice the new movement pattern or consciously unwind the pattern after engaging in it. After all, for this client, I wasn't going to tell her to stop knitting. I would take away her joy if I did that. Instead, I helped her to knit more ergonomically, as well as develop a routine of unwinding and counteracting the inevitable stress that knitting requires of the body, especially for long hours. Although I did encourage her to not sit there for quite that long as well, a new pattern. In any case, let me give you a few ways that you can do this through your session approach as well. First, when you give clients self-care homework, start with one or two small things they can easily incorporate into their lives on a daily basis. Consistency of repetition is very important. For example, with my client who knits, I started with 2 assignments. One was a pec opening exercise, which it actually opens the entire anterior fascial line of the neck, pecs, and arms, and for her to perform that for 3 to 5 minutes at the end of every hour of knitting. The other was a breathing exercise to perform just 1 to 2 times per day for 3 to 5 minutes to regulate her nervous system. You might even develop a daily sign-off sheet that helps the client stay on track and have some visual and kinesthetic self-accountability. Checking things off actually reinforces motivation through, yet again, chemical responses in the brain. Then, each time she comes in for a session, I ask her to perform these exercises for me so I can see not only her progress, but also adjust the way she's performing them in case adjustments need to be made. So you can do the same thing. I mean, after all, practice really does make perfect, but perfect might equate to perfectly wrong. When we repeat something incorrectly, we build that incorrect pattern into our brain's hardwiring. So it's important to ensure clients are performing their exercises precisely. And you can do that and help them with that by asking them to perform them for you each time that they come in. You can see what's working, what's not, and again, also be able to chart their progress. Plus, you become a source of accountability, which is very important for developing any habit, pattern, or routine. After a few sessions, I might add another facet, such as having her set an alarm for every 10 to 20 minutes that she knits. And when the alarm goes off, she's to place attention on her body position and how her body feels, and then adjust accordingly. Now, after doing this for a while, the alarm will no longer be necessary. The attentiveness itself will become a pattern. Now, I know this because I've taught myself how to catch my posture and also my breathing. And now I don't even think about it. What I notice instead is that I adjusted my posture or took a deep breath without me prompting it. And finally, stay repetitive in the approach. I try something for multiple sessions before shifting gears. It takes time to see if an approach is going to work. Now, with the sample client here, I use the same approach to opening the path of her brachial plexus for several sessions, so the body has time to receive and adapt according to my input. So try not to change things up too quickly. With that, do your best to encourage a treatment plan that involves multiple short sessions in short time frames rather than longer sessions that are further apart. 2 30-minute sessions a week will produce much more effective results than 1 hour-long session each week. It's because it is repetitive and consistent. Plus, it gives the opportunity to keep the client's attention on their state of being and the goals at hand, as well as remain anchored in the emotions of what they no longer want versus what they truly and deeply want for their quality of life. So these are just a few ways to incorporate a learning process into your sessions. Explore more ideas by brainstorming with colleagues or doing research into effective treatments and healing methods. Also, keep in mind that when a person tries to do something different, things feel off. There's resistance as the brain starts to go down the usual path, the familiar known. This is why breaking a groove or routine is really hard. It's easier to do what you've always done. It requires less thought and energy. For change to occur and a new pattern or habit to be developed, a person must consciously establish new neural connections or pathways. It's 100% possible, but it takes continuous attention, emotion, and repetition. It takes mindfulness and persistence. And we, as practitioners and educators, get to be their encouraging coach along this path. Better yet, when we use these ideas and practices for ourselves, we also become role models. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you have any questions about this topic or simply want to talk about how to best support your clients and yourself in the pursuit of feeling well and happy, please contact me at cindy@imaginehealthforyou.com. Until next time, be well.